Hey guys, Tim Lee here with I'm So Angry's channel, and today we're going to be doing a Salamangreat / deck profile / learning video. We're also going to be giving away 8 of the new Salamangreat structure decks. This is a full unopened display case. We're going to be hosting a contest later on. So guys, during our Salamangreat deck profile, we're going to be using a bunch of our most popular catchphrases in our past videos. Make sure to keep an eye out for those catchphrases because that will be part of the contest that we're going to be hosting later on. Keep an eye out for those catchphrases, and in the comments, please each person will post 3 catchphrases out of the ones I'll be saying in the video. I'm also angry will choose which catchphrases will win, and the 8 unique winners will be selected on Sunday night, February 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We hope you enjoy this contest, and we hope you enjoy the content that we're putting out for you guys. Make sure you check out I'm So Angry's Instagram account to find out who wins the Soul Burner Structure Deck Case Challenge / Contest. The Instagram is I'm So Angry, is the same thing as I'm So Angry's channel, so Instagram.com / I'm So Angry.
Now let's open these up! Yeah! So the first catchphrase is, what store is this? I'm here at Gaming Universe with our friend Tony Tundra!
Hey, what's up?
Where is this place located at?
Flushing? 133 39th Avenue, it's lower level, Flushing, New York, 11355.
And there's a tournament on Saturdays. 6 tournament packs on entry. 4 OTS, 1 OTS something else, and 1 turbo pack. Is that correct?
Most of the time, yeah.
Most of the time is correct. Now on to his video. Huh. Go.
Hey guys, Tim Lee here to give you guys a Salamangreat deck learning video. So today the Soul Burner Structure deck came out, and a Salamangreat, which is an archetype that a lot of people wanted to play over the past few months, finally got released. So today I'm going to show you guys some of the combos, some of the cards that you should play, your core, and some of the interesting techs that you could play in your deck.
Is it SCP?
Yeah, it's SCP.
Joseph Chang in the streets,
Sam
Chung in the sheets. And what does this deck do? And
basically, it's a very consistent linking deck. You're consistently making boards that aren't super strong, but they're very consistent. And you basically keep on recycling your resources, and you basically want to outgrind your opponent in the long run. It's not a super strong OTK deck, but there are OTK variants of it where you can finish your opponent off really quickly if you open up with the proper combos.
what's the strengths and what's the weaknesses?
Strength is that it's pretty consistent. All the resources are basically free. Once you get your engine started, basically everything recurs for itself. So everything is basically free advantage once your engine starts. The weaknesses is that it's not super explosive, so you won't have one of those super strong boards like one of the meta decks such as Danger Thunder does. But overall, the deck is very consistent. It's very fun, and I do like it a lot.
Okay, awesome. And is this budget kind of thing, or yeah, let's spend like a lot of money as well?
You don't have to spend too much money. There are like hand traps that are worth a lot, like Infinite Impermanence and Moral Sword if you choose to play them. But there are alternatives in the deck that you can play if you want to, and I'll show you some of them.
Okay. And does that have 5 negates?
Unfortunately, it does not have 5 negates, but you could make a pretty decent board that recurs itself.
Okay, awesome. Let's get into this.
Alright, so starting off, you have to play 3 of your most important cards, Salamangreat Gazelle. Salamangreat Gazelle is a card that basically comes out of your hand whenever you link a Salamangreat monster off, which is the most common way to summon it. You could normal summon it, but you don't really want to. And this is basically Armageddon Knight. This will basically mill the next card I'm going to show you most of the time, which is 3 Salamangreat Spinies.
Ooh, so good!
Spiny is a really good card because it comes back from the grave for free, and whenever you XYZ with it, it'll go back into the graveyard so it doesn't get banished by its own effect. If you have it in your hand, you can also always discard it and target a monster on the board to basically make it lose 500 attack or gain 500 attack. I believe it's gain 500 attack. You can also do this to your opponent's monsters if you don't have monsters to get it to your graveyard, because both effects of Salamangreat Spiny are once per turn. After that, we have 3 Salamangreat Foxy. If you do not play Lady Debug, which is kind of expensive right now, so I don't play it, it is probably the best normal summon of your deck. It is basically a free Pot of Duality whenever you summon it, and while it's in your graveyard, you can always use it. I believe you can use it to destroy a spell and trap by discarding a card. Overall, it's really strong, and it gets you to most of your cards, because since most of your deck is Salamangreat, whenever you normal summon a Foxy, you're going to always be hitting a card that's relevant to your deck. And you could play either 1 or 2 Salamangreat Foxes. I personally like 2. You could play it at 1. This is the card that basically lets you bounce a Salamangreat monster from your hand back to your from your field back to your hand if you want to summon it. But the more common effect is to use it whenever it's sent to your graveyard. You can add a Salamangreat spell or trap from your graveyard and set it onto your board, which is the most common use for it. It's also level 4, so for the level 4 or rank 4 XYZs, it's a really good fodder for them. 1 Salamangreat Mole. Mole is a really good extender because you can spell summon to any link point. It gets you a free monster on board, and it can also help you recycle 5 when you're in a pinch. When you have no cards on your board or no monsters on your board, you can banish this from your graveyard and target 5 Salamangreat cards in your graveyard. Shuffle them back to the deck and draw 2. So it's really good for recycling link monsters, XYZ monsters, spells and traps or monsters if you need that. One Salamangreat Foxer. The second effect of Foxer isn't really too relevant. You could use it as an MST if you want, but mainly it's just a level 3 and it's basically an MST. If you do happen to kill a card from your opponent's back row, either do something like Nightmare Phoenix or Conquister, it does come back to your grave for free. One Salamangreat Mirror. Mirror is good if you add it with Salamangreat Circle because it's a free summon. It's also good for getting some cards out of your hand. So for example, if you have Mirror and Falco in your hand, you can discard your Falco to spell summon your Mirror. Your Falco's effect will activate to get you a Speller Trap back from your graveyard and set it back. You can also use it to get stuff like Spiny out of your hand, which would have been leaving your hand anyways, or stuff like Foxy or Foxer if you want the MST effect to pop. One Salamangreat Jack Jaguar.
Whoa, is this kosher?
This is very kosher. Jack Jaguar is really good because basically you use it to recycle your Link monsters. Whenever you use the Reincarnation Link summoning mechanic, Jack Jaguar can basically get you your card back. It's also really good because it's a free monster and it's a level 4 with a decent attack. So overall, it's really good. You could play 2 if you don't want to brick with it, opening your hand, because opening it with it isn't really ideal. But playing it at 1 is also alright. And then you have one Salamangreat Foul. So Foul is mainly played because it's a level 4 extender. You can summon it whenever you normal or spell summon a Salamangreat. I personally like it because it's level 4 extender, so it helps you rank into rank 4s, such as Abyssdweller or Baguska. It also has a somewhat relevant second effect. The second effect is that you can discard a Salamangreat card or send a Salamangreat card from your hand to the graveyard, and you can target one set Speller Trap your opponent controls, and they cannot activate it for the rest of the turn, which is pretty good for getting Salamangreats out of your hand in case you have extra field spells, Falcos, or etc, etc. So that's the main core of the deck. Now we're going to go into some tech choices. Dorgaron, the Mad Flame Kaiju.
No one loves you.
Dorgaron's pretty good because you have a card called Mirage Stallion in this deck, which lets you bounce cards from the field back to your hand. Whenever you steal something that you don't really want to deal with, you can give them the Kaiju, summon Mirage Stallion, and then link off the Mirage Stallion. And then by linking off the Mirage Stallion, you can bounce the Kaiju back to your hand. So you basically get 3 Kaijus, getting rid of your opponent's monster for free, and you actually use the Mirage Stallion effect, which sometimes you don't usually use. Another card that I recommend is the old True King. True King the Vanisher is basically you pop 2 fire cards from your hand or board and you spell summon it. When you pop both fire monsters, you can banish a card from your opponent's board or from the grave. Because most of your Salamangreat's effects activate when they're sent to the graveyard, it's kind of free, and overall it's just pretty good. It has high attack, and banishing a card from your opponent's board is usually pretty good. If you happen to banish a card from your graveyard, that's also alright, because generally graveyard is pretty important in the meta that we're in. And then some hand traps. Ghost Ogres, pretty good hand trap this format. Ash Blossoms, also a pretty good hand trap this format. And you can also play Impermanences if you'd like. But if you don't want to play Impermanences, Veilers also are good in this deck. The reason why you can play a lot of hand traps in this deck, actually you can play Ghost Bell as well if you want, is because your engine is very small. Use only Gazelle and Foxy basically for your engine. And once you have those 2 cards, you can basically recur the resources over and over again, because in the combos, most of the time you're going to be able to reactivate your Salamangreat Gazelle. So going to spell and traps. Salamangreat Circle is probably one of the best cards in your deck. It gets you to all your combos. It also is kind of like a Sky Striker Eco Booster when the situation occurs. But mainly the fact that you can get this back for free with Sunlight Wolf's effect is really good, because it's basically a free search every turn, which is just amazing. 2 Will of the Salamangreat or Salamangreat Heart in OCG. This is really good because it gets you a free summon. If you want to use the first effect, you can summon Salamangreat Link monsters. If you want to use the second effect, you can send this card to the graveyard and then basically summon a bunch of monsters. It's kind of like a pseudo soul charge in a sense, because you get a lot of monsters back for free, which helps you build your board, make Boral Sword, and maybe make a rank 4 Floodgate like Abyssdweller or Baguska. Overall, it's really good, and I think playing at 2 is correct. Fusion of Fire. Fusion of Fire is basically a super poly card that lets you fuse from both players' boards. You can use a Link monster and any Salamangreat monster to make Salamangreat Violet Chimera, which is a really strong OTK card. It's good for breaking your opponent's resources when they have it, and because it's a Salamangreat card, it's searchable through Gazelle, and you can add it back through Sunlight Wolf if it's necessary. 2 Salamangreat Sanctuary, which is the field spell. So the deck basically revolves around Reincarnation Link summoning, which is why the field spell is so important. You could play 1 so you don't see it as much, but playing 1 means that when you go through 1 or once your opponent destroys 1, it's very hard to get back unless you want to use Salamangreat Falco to get it back. Overall, the field spell is really good enough to play at 2, and if you ever have extras, you can always discard it for Foul to basically make your opponent not activate summon traps, or you can discard it for Twin Twisters and stuff like that. Overall, really good card. Don't really use the second effect too much, but really good for Reincarnation Link summoning. 1 Salamangreat Roar. Salamangreat Roar is basically a friendly barrier of the deck. You don't really need more than 1 because you can recycle it. Because it's very unnormal that you would use the second effect to set it back when you Reincarnation Link summon. The only time you do it was usually when you don't need it again. So playing 1 is perfectly fine because it's once per turn anyways. Perfect. Salamangreat Roar. So So Salamangreat Rage is basically your slash Regeki Blade slash Cybernetic Overflow. What it does is that if you do not have a reincarnation summon Link monster, you can discard a Salamangreat card, I believe, or was it Salamangreat monster, I don't really remember, pop a card on the board. If you do, however, have a reincarnation Link summon monster, such as a Heat Leo or a Sunlight Wolf, you can target cards on the board, you go to the number of Link rating that monster has, and then pop it. It doesn't actually target, so you select cards on the board. So for example, if you have a reincarnation summon Heat Leo, you can activate Rage, and then you can pop 3 cards on your opponent's board. And Salamangreat Gift. So Gift is basically a setup card. You don't have to play it if you don't want to, but it's pretty good overall. The main effect of Gift is that you can discard a Salamangreat card, you can draw a card, and then mill a Salamangreat card, or you draw 2, if you have a reincarnation Link summon monster. If you do have a reincarnation Link summon monster, it's basically a Pot of Greed. If you don't, then it's a Foolish Burial and a draw 1. So it's a really good cycle card. It's a little bit slow because it is a trap, but overall it's pretty good, and it's good enough to play if you're playing it just for fun. And some honorable mentions. You have Raccoon. Salamangreat Raccoon. So Raccoon is pretty much a card that recurs itself. You get it back whenever you pop a monster or kill a monster. And it's basically good for protecting your monsters, because sometimes you really want your Sunlight Wolf to live. You can discard your Raccoon so your Sunlight Wolf lives, and then whenever next turn you beat a monster over by battle, then you can just add a Raccoon back to your hand for free. It also helps you save some life because this game makes you gain life equal to your opponent's monster's attack. So if your opponent attacks you with a really big Boral Sword, you can drop the Raccoon, gain all the Boral Sword's attack as life points, and then your monster won't be destroyed by battle anymore that turn. And Card Destruction. So because all your cards activate when they're sent to graveyard, Card Destruction is a really good card to basically set up your graveyard, as well as to get cards back. By sending stuff like Foxer, Foxy, Falcon to the graveyard, you not only set up their grave effects, but you also get Salamangreat monsters in the graveyard to set up stuff like Foxer, Jack Jaguar, and a lot of cards. It helps you unbreak in case you draw too many of the monsters that you don't want to see normal summoned, and overall Card Destructions are very powerful cards this meta. So those are the main deck cards. If you want to play other cards in place of Impermanence, Effect Veiler is good. Lady Debugger is good if you want to play with that build. There's a lot of different fire support cards over the years that are pretty good over the years that basically come up in this deck, and this is a really good representation of fire decks in the meta. So going to the extra deck, you play 3 of the new Salamangreat Link 1 that I can't pronounce. This is really good because whenever your monster will be destroyed or Salamangreat cards will be destroyed, you can banish it from your graveyard. It also helps you search your field spell, which is really important. So an interaction with this card is that if your opponent activates something like Twin Twister or Regeki, something just blows up your board, you can just banish it from the graveyard and all your cards are going to be saved, because it's not you have to banish 1 per card, but you banish 1 for the whole board. 2 Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf. You could play 3 if you want, but I think 2 is perfectly fine. This is the card that basically grabs you back advantage permanently and helps you recur your deck, gives you infinite resources, and basically just keeps on recycling cards. You could recycle any effect monster, so you can also recycle Ash Balls. 2 Salamangreat Heat Leo. You could play 3 if you want, but I think 3 is a bit excessive. Heat Leo isn't super good, but whenever you reincarnation Link summon it, you can spin a back row from your opponent's spell or trap card zone back to their deck. It's pretty good just because you could spin a spell or trap. It's pretty good against Striker, but overall it's not super good, so I wouldn't play 3. Also could help modify attack and defense in case you want to go for the OTK plays in this deck.
OTK time.
And you have 2 Salamangreat Mirage Stallion, or Mirage, whatever it's called in the TCG. Basically gets you a free monster whenever you have 2 rank 3s, or a rank 3 or 2 level 3s. Helps you extend, helps you search out your deck, thin your deck. Usually it comes with Jack Jaguar, and whenever you link with it, you can bounce a card on the board that's a monster back to your hand. So usually the Kaiju is in this situation. You play 1 Salamangreat Violet Chimera. This is the OTK card of the deck. If you do summon it off Fusion of Fire, you're going to modify your opponent's attack or defense. It does a lot of damage because it hits really, really hard.
OTK time.
And then cards that you can basically play, Flame Administrator basically buffs up all your Link monsters because your deck links a lot.
It's like Lego
You
Man.
can build a bunch of Link monsters and basically everything will be plus 800.
Okay.
Nightmare Phoenix is also a pretty good card. It's a fire, so it doesn't turn off when Mirage Stallion is summoned. Basically gets you a pop, and if you co-link it with the new Salamangreat Link 1, which can happen, you can also cycle a card. Boral Sword is also a really great card because it's a Link climbing deck. Overall, Boral Sword is an OTK card, and it's just really, really strong. Other honorable mentions go out to Baguska, which is the rank 4 for its a Floodgate, and Abyss Dweller. I think Abyss Dweller is really good in this deck because it's really good in the mirror, and it's also pretty good versus the meta right now. So that is mainly the extra deck for the deck.
You'd recommend for the side deck?
Side deck you could play any Floodgate such as Rivalry of Worlds and Goes in match because everything is fire and everything is Cyberse. Doesn't really conflict with you. Stuff like Twin Twisters if you want to side it, evenly match standard stuff. All really good for side deck options. Currently, we don't really know how the meta is turning out. We know that danger is a problem, so you might want to side raw spear mode because your deck does not really need to normal summon that much in order to make its plays happen. So basically the general stuff, as well as some things that you think you're going to have hard matchups against.
Okay, awesome. Let's see some combos.
Sure.
Combo time.
So mainly all your combos revolve around Salamangreat Gazelle, and use that to combo with Spiny. And generally you're going to have a normal summon, so something like Foxy. But mainly, any two of these cards combined will basically get you some type of combo.
Okay.
So Foxy is really good because you can just normal summon it. You can activate the Paw of Duality effect, and like 99% of the time, whenever you see a Salamangreat card, you add it to your hand.
Okay.
Once you summon Foxy, if you do have a Gazelle or a Circle, you would activate the Circle first. Basically, Gazelle will be in your hand. You can summon Foxy, you can add a card through it, link it off into the new Salamangreat Link monster, and at this point, you chain link. So your Baleonics or whatever it's called will be chain link 1, while your Gazelle will be chain link 2. Gazelle will come onto the board, activating its effect to mill. So you're going to be milling either Spiny. If you have it into your hand, you don't need to mill Spiny, but let's say you don't have it in your hand, so you'll mill the Spiny, while your Baleonics or whatever it's called will add you the field spell, which is Salamangreat Sanctuary. So Salamangreat Sanctuary will now be in your hand. Now, Spiny comes back for free because of its effect, so you come in onto the board. You can activate your Sanctuary whenever you want. You can activate it now, let's say, and then you Exceed Summon your Salamangreat Mirage Stallion under your Baleonic, so that's the only arrow you have. You activate Stallion's effect, detaching Gazelle. This is really important because you want this Gazelle back in your hand. You spell summon Jack Jaguar from your deck. The Jack Jaguar will come onto the board. Now you link your Jack Jaguar and your Baleonics into Salamangreat Slight Wolf, and you'll put this in the other extra deck monster zone because you want this arrow over here.
Okay.
Now you can activate one of two things. You can activate your Salamangreat Jack Jaguar, or if you have other cards, you can activate your field spell to reincarnation your Sunlight Wolf and summon another Sunlight Wolf from your extra deck. So now because your Sunlight Wolf is reincarnation link summon, you can activate the second effect. If you did activate something like Salamangreat Circle earlier this game to search a Gazelle or search your Foxer, you can activate it and grab it back to your graveyard, and this will go back to your hand. If you do not, that's fine too. You can now activate Jack Jaguar's effect. You can shuffle the Sunlight Wolf that you basically reincarnation back into your deck, so this is a free summon, and summon Jack Jaguar. Jack Jaguar will get summoned to Sunlight Wolf's zone, which activates Sunlight Wolf's effect to add Gazelle back to your hand. So basically, this is going to be how your board is. You basically turn 2 cards into your Mirage Stallion, Jack Jaguar, Sunlight Wolf, and Gazelle. At this point, you can only activate Fire Monster's effects, so continuing is kind of hard. But if you do have something such as Salamangreat Fowl or Falco, a Heart, there's a lot of cards in the deck that basically help you extend. For example, let's just say you have a Fowl, for example, because it's just already like level 4 you picked up. You can spell summon this whenever you spell summon any of your Salamangreat monsters, and then make a rank 4 over here. So this could be a Bazooska, or it could be an Abyss Dweller. And passing to your opponent after this is usually pretty okay. This is a 2-card combo, so usually you'll have 3 cards in your hand until after you activate this. And depending on what you activated, what spells you activated or traps you activated, your Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf can grab you back cards every single turn. And the next turn, you're going to have a Gazelle to follow up with your next follow-up play. So that's basically how the deck is usually working. This is basically your bread and butter combo, and the combo that you're going to be performing the most often that you're going to be seeing a lot.
Wow, this is so good.
Yeah.
So good!
All without Lady Debug, by the way.
All out Ladybug. If you had Lady Debug, would be like much easier.
If you have Lady Debug, it's more easy to get Gazelle or other combo pieces to your hand because Lady Debug is also the same thing as Salamangreat Baleonics. I personally don't like Lady Debug because I really like summoning Foxy, but Lady Debug will add consistency to the deck and it'll give you more cards overall. I just wanted to show you the combo without Lady Debug in case some people don't have it because Lady Debug is a card that's going a little bit up in price right now.
Okay. Thank you, Tim.
Sure, no problem.
Arigatou gozaimasu. Hi. Whoa! It's scientist! Science time!
No, stop, please.
Hey, Dad. Where's Grandpa?
No English.
No English! Hey, Tony, you got hands on your hands?
Hands on my hands.
Hands on your hands!